This is the Seven Figure Standard Podcast, hosted by Arash Vasugi and Mikey Stiller, with mindset and strategies to help you break through and create personal freedom.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Seven Figure Standard Podcast. I'm Mikey Stiller, joined by my co-host, Arash Vasugi, and we are so happy to be with you this week for an episode I think you're all going to love or you're definitely going to relate to. But first, let me introduce my co-host, Arash. How are you doing?
I'm great, Mikey. How are you?
I'm doing great as well. You know, we were at our World Class Wealth event last week, which is always so much fun and so powerful. And you said something that I thought we could do an entire episode around because it's something that everybody deals with as they're going to achieve something big. And that is how they deal with and overcome adversity. So why don't we jump in right there?
Yeah, what I was sharing with the group last week is if you're going to accomplish something much different, you're going to have to overcome adversity. What happens is most people shrink at adversity and they're constantly getting in defense mode where they're playing not to lose instead of playing to win. And the universe tests us to see how badly we want something. And adversity is the core, and how you overcome adversity is going to be the core of how quickly you create a massive jump in your results. I've had a brain tattoo for years, and I shared it with the group last week. You want to have the attitude that I'm going to eat adversity for breakfast. As soon as it comes, I take action right away. I don't shrink. I put my foot on the gas. And what happens when you do that and when you have that attitude is there's a different version of you inside that's dying to come out, and you tap into that version. And what happens is when we're in action, there is no fear. There is no doubt. So one of our biggest weapons against the old programming, against conforming, against playing it safe is action.
Mm-hmm. Raj, you know, I think something that is a misconception is a lot of times whenever you are striving and you hit that adversity, you think that once you get to a certain level of success, you won't experience adversity anymore. And so having that understanding that there's adversity at every single level of success, I think sets you up better than assuming that you're going to get past adversity and it'll be smooth sailing.
Yeah, a life of freedom is not a courage-free life. We have to bring courage and keep upgrading our courage muscle at every level we get to. So if you study the top 1% of individuals, they have more courage now than they've ever had. And so it's not about living a courage-free life. It's about tapping into different levels of courage, because to create a massive jump, everyone has the opportunity to do it. There's no one listening to this that cannot create by the end of the year. We're going into quarter four, the best quarter of their life. And I say that every quarter because I believe it every quarter. And the first and fourth quarters, the study has showed us that's the best quarter for the average individual. The first quarter, they want to really get on fire. The fourth quarter, they want to finish on fire. But imagine if we did it for all four quarters, had that same enthusiasm and intensity. So when you look at it, you all have had courage. There's no one who has never operated with courage. Most people don't tap into that courage until they're pissed off enough.
Yeah.
You know, we want to make courage one of your foundations, because to achieve a goal, there's two things it's going to require. It's going to require great courage, and it's going to require a different level of confidence. So you mix those together with knowing what we want and having an irrevocable decision. Every day you recommit. Every day is day one. And that's where you're going to change your results.
We've done an episode in the past on approach, and I'd like to know, where does approach come in when you are facing adversity?
Approach comes into everything. Our approach is our automatic operating system. It is our automatic state. It taps into our automatic philosophies. Mm-hmm. Like yesterday, I had an approach to my preparation for the week. It automatically happens. So approach is automatically coming. Now, most people are not aware of what their approach is. They're probably listening to us right now and saying, what do you mean approach? Mm-hmm. You want to go back to the approach lesson that we did on this podcast. But approach is everywhere.
whenever you're leading, I want to bring in adversity as a leader as well, because you're going to be able to lead your team through adversity. How do you do that while leading yourself, but also helping your team get to a new level?
You want to get them to see themselves differently, and you want to educate them that where you want to go, there is going to be hard times. There is adversity you have to overcome.
Mhm.
And you lead by example and you lead by your standard. And if you show them your philosophy, your operating system of how you deal with adversity, you're going to change the game. So this all comes down to, it's a great question I ask my clients all the time.
Mhm.
And they'll be working with me closely and they get stuck on this question. How do you see yourself? And not how do you want to see yourself, but authentically, how do you currently see yourself? Do you see yourself that you're going to crush it today? Do you see yourself that you are absolutely, by December 31st, going to have the next 12 weeks as the best 12 weeks? When we come and ask ourselves these tough questions and we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, because the truth is going to set you free. You have to be brutally honest with yourself. That's going to be where you are on the adversity calendar for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I know Mike, look at you. Like, just look for you for a second. There are certain areas that you have probably a much better attitude towards adversity than others. All of us have that, right?
Yeah.
And that's same for me. And so once we keep training ourselves that we have the type of identity as the person who overcomes adversity, the best thing to keep telling yourself is, I'm the type of person, when adversity comes, I take action. I'm the type of person, when adversity comes, I raise my standard. I'm the type of person, when adversity comes, I just tap into my courage. See, when we say that with the type of person that ... what we're doing is we're reshaping our identity. So we're getting ourselves to see ourselves like that person.
Mm-hmm. Raj, the common thread between every single podcast episode that we've done so far is obviously mindset, and just different aspects of fine-tuning that mindset and honing it to be really at your most excellent self. We talk about how important mindset is, not just in adversity, but in every single area of your life.
Yeah, mindset, to just simplify it, it's how you see the world. Like, everybody listening to this has a different mindset. But 95% of success is mindset, 5% is strategy. Now, people will argue with me with this. And I said, well, how do you think you operate the strategies with a certain mindset? So as we keep raising the mindset, we're raising the strategies. Knowing how to do it is not anybody's problem. Doing it is the problem. And we have to be prepared to do what we don't want to do. That's when you know you've overcome adversity.
All right, let's get into the action step for today.
Well, I would like for the next week for you to lean into adversity. Come from my program. As soon as I have adversity, I take action right away. That is your weapon. And I want you to really lean into it. The minute you hesitate, the minute adversity won. And I want you to observe yourself and really sprint towards that adversity. Remember, the problem is not that you don't know what to do, it's doing it. You're going to grow more in the doing than anything else.
So good, Raj. Thank you so much once again. And thanks to all of you. If you enjoyed today's episode, go ahead and leave us a rating and a review. Share this with your friends and family. Also, in this episode, I mentioned that last week we just came off of our World Class Wealth event, and we also just announced the dates for our January World Class Wealth event. We would love to have you come join us at World Class Wealth. It is a transformational 3 days. There is nothing like being in the room at World Class Wealth. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and send us an email, hello@vosscoachingco.com, and we'll get you all the details. Thanks, Raj, and thanks to all of you. We'll see you next week for another episode of the 7 Figure Standard podcast.
Thank you for listening to this episode of 7 Figure Standard. We hope you found the insights and strategies helpful on your journey to success. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a rating and review on your favorite podcast platform to help us reach more people like you. To learn more about Arash and Mikey and how Voss Coach & Co. can help you achieve your goals and reach new levels of success, visit vosscoachandco.com. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of 7 Figure Standard.